Fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. I wouldn't be able to comprehend God's meaning in the word that I read if I didn't first comprehend God. Why would he tell you fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge and yet tell you over 365 times do not fear? But there's one thing he tells us to fear. And it does and doesn't mean that cowering fear. And what I mean by that is God's love. Understand that his hand could crush me, but his mercy and his grace hold back from doing so, and gave me time to realize that while in drug use, I was in the darkest place. And not just drug use, before coming to Christ, before relinquishing and submitting my will to his, before saying, you know what, I'm not good at life, you take over. Before that point, I was nothing. I was walking in darkness. How do we, fear the Lord is the beginning of knowledge? Well, how do we fear the Lord? I got to know who he is. I have to get into the word and I have to seek him in every page to look for the character of God. I love Job 38 through 41. Job goes through a lot. And he asks some questions, and he asks some really good questions, some questions you or I would ask. But God doesn't answer those particular questions. But what God does say tells us a lot about him. It tells us about his power. It tells us about who he is, that he is the creator. And it just gives us a little perspective on him. And to fear the Lord is to have reverence for him. To know to whom you're speaking when you pray. To know to humble yourself. Okay? Everyone in the Bible that comes into any form of contact with the Holy God, an angelic figure, they fall to the ground and cower. They cower because now they're faced with pure holiness, pure goodness. And in that, there's a mirror there. And that mirror shows me how wretched, how dirty, how evil, how unholy I am. And even Isaiah was like, I come from a people of dirty mouths, of dirty speech. Like, why would you choose me? But in Jeremiah, he says, I chose you in the womb. I knew you before you were born. Like, how cool is that? That I could be so horrible and God would love me so much still and give me time and be patient with me, and so that I can one day come to the knowledge of who he is. And in order to get that knowledge, I have to seek him in every word of my Bible. It says conform to the character of Christ. Well, I can't conform to something I don't know. I love Galatians 5:24 through 26. It tells you the fruit of the Spirit: peace, patience, kindness, goodness, self-control. That's one I was not good at. These are the fruit of the Spirit. These are the character of Christ. These are who he calls us to be when we walk in him. Being a Christian in name and not action is identity theft. He says that if you love me, you'll obey my commandments. So every day I have to deny myself. Every single day I have to deny human nature to do or react in a way that I want to react. Say somebody comes into my job with a bad attitude. I know one night someone came in literally 5 minutes before close, and I had a bad attitude about that because I was ready to go home. And I was rude. And I, was snippy. And I was like, are you here for food? Like, it's like 5 minutes till close, And the lady behind the counter, her response to me was, of course, matching my bad attitude. It was like, yeah, it's a sandwich shop, isn't it? Isn't this where you come to get sandwiches? Now, what I could have done is what I wanted to do was come back and go, yeah, well, it's 5 minutes till close. Thanks a lot. I could have came back with a bad attitude. But being Christ-minded, I wouldn't be showing Christ in my actions had I done that. I wouldn't be showing the fruit of the Spirit. I would be showing grace. And not the grace of God, but this wretched woman in front of you. That's what I would be showing. And shame on me to do such a thing. So I apologized and I said, you know what? I was very rude and I'm very sorry and I should not have spoken to you that way. And I happily made 3 sandwiches, 5 minutes before close. Yeah, I closed late and I even got home late. But that couple has come back in since. They tipped me pretty good and they came back in since. And I apologized, over and over again for my bad behavior. Because it doesn't matter what other people do. What matters is what I do. I can't make somebody else act right. Okay? What I can do is deny myself from not acting right. So, and I've had great conversations with this couple. This could have gone a whole different way. So, me without God is that bad attitude that you would walk away from going, I can't stand that woman. Me with God, though, now that's a game changer.